All right, we're almost ready to do the glue up for our leg assemblies, but before we do that, while they're all apart, we're gonna make sure we sand everything up to 220 grit. And so there's a few different options for this. If it's a small piece and it would be easier to move with your hand, then we have these sanding boards with a various amount of sandpapers on them. So this is 120, we have 150 and 220. And what we're gonna do with these boards is we're gonna secure them to the bench by using a bench dog and the vise. And then once that is secured, we're then going to hold our piece and move it around the flat board. That's gonna be a more effective way to sand while making sure we keep nice flat sides. So that's the first option. You can sand your way out through the grits using these. And the second option is going to just be using sandpaper, which we have in the drawers here in a various amount of grits. So you want to start at about 120 or 150 and work your way up to about 220. And these, for the rounded over bits, it will be helpful to use do this by hand. And then for the flatter sections, you can use a small sanding block and wrap your sandpaper around it and then sand your piece. For this, instead of putting this piece of wood in the block that we're gonna sand on top of, rather than that, it's gonna be better if you secure your piece to the bench and then sand it. That way you don't have to chase it around and worry about holding it in the right place. So if I was standing on my end piece here, I have the bench dog installed with the foot up on the vise, and then I'm just gonna bring it in until that's nice and tight. And then I can go ahead and use this sanding block on my board here. Again, we want to make sure that we keep everything nice and flat. You don't want unnecessary roundovers, but it is also a good idea if you do have really sharp corners. What you can do is you can take a little bit of sandpaper and go over it lightly, and that's called breaking the corner. So now is a good time to do all the sanding on all of our pieces while everything's still apart. Get those sanded up to 220, and then we can move on to the assembly portion.